All right, everyone. Now we have to talk about Antifa attempting to do magic. Yes, indeed. According to reports, link in the description, not archived, of course. This is from Jack Posobiec. Antifa was apparently attempting to do literal black magic. That is a combination of Satanism and actual black magic works were found in an Antifa compound. I don't think that you're able to do magic, and here's why. You believe in a hierarchical, very, very stringent authoritarian system. There's no liberty available there. Are you really capable of doing black magic, therefore? My take on black magic is, of course, it is very, very individualized. It has to be. A person has to vote their conscience, so to speak. They have to do their own thing. Only then, if they're able to, sort of navigate all of the books and things like that they're going to have to navigate, only then are they capable of doing black magic at all. So I'm not particularly worried about Antifa learning black magic. As far as Satanism goes, most of that is just atheism as well. So when you mix the two together, if you raid an Antifa compound and you find satanic literature and like the black magic stuff, you can be sure that you're dealing with a bunch of tyros. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They have absolutely no clue. Satanism, I've always thought of as nothing more than a stepping stone to better things. So removing the guilt and the fear of, the prior religion you probably were raised up in, whether it's Christianity or something else, that's perfectly fine. But it's not a form of occultism. Satanism is not the occult. That's why I left it behind myself. I am a former Satanist. I was part of, if not the Church of Satan, at the very least I was adjacent to it. But there's nothing there. There's no occultism or anything like that. There's no actual magic. You have to go beyond it. That is simply an initiatory sort of stage. So if you've got satanic literature and like I guess black magic works or something, together on your bookshelf, probably you are nothing more than a tyro, or you're simply interested in the topic. So the topic of the occult, stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, for example, editing a bunch of works that you may not yourself agree with. I've done it many, many times, but that doesn't make you a black magic practitioner. When I see, therefore, that Antifa has a bunch of satanic literature, I say, well, I mean, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing morally wrong with it, in my personal opinion. But at the same time, that's not going to glean any knowledge from actual magic because it's not actually magic at all. It's literally an atheistic program of sorts. And so I found this really, really funny. When I saw this, I was like, oh, haha, Antifa is trying to do magic. That's gone over so well for the left, by the way, in the last few years. You'll notice that Lana Del Rey's, spells did not work in the last election, for example. There's a reason for that. It's very, very funny. Go ahead and attempt to do your magic. If you want to delve into Satanism, I encourage it, actually. I think that it's a good idea that you get into that, but you've got to understand that you've got to get back out of it. Satanism is not the end-all be-all, for example. The occult is much, much, much more complex than the average person believes it to be. It's not an issue of simply doing magic. Like you're a wizard out in the woods or something like that, casting spells. That's not exactly how the occult works. You are going to have to do a shit ton of research. You're going to have to do a shit ton of analysis. You're going to have to do a shit ton of reading. Like, prepare to read several hundred books. That would be probably like the starting point. It's doable. I mean, assuming that you're inclined towards reading it all, and most Antifa members, I have a feeling they're not reading these books. They just have them on the shelf or something like that, and they just look at them. You're going to have to read an enormous amount of material and imbibe it. You have to actually seriously understand it before you even get to the rudiments of magic. So, excuse me if I don't really take seriously the idea of some sort of occult threat from Antifa. Yeah, I mean, it's great. At the very least, hopefully you're reading these books, but we're not exactly sure that you are. Uh, so it's going to be a little bit of a problem now, isn't it? The fact is, Antifa cannot do black magic. And the idea of devil worship or Satanism, I have a feeling that that's probably being taken out of context. So, in other words, TPUSA went into an Antifa compound and found the Satanic Bible. Uh, okay, that's Satanism in the sense that it's the Church of Satan, but it's really nothing more than atheism. It's not evidence that there's some dark magic going on or anything like that. I would tell the Antifa members, by the way, you're going to kill your soul and have it ripped out, but, they won't listen to me. The leftists never do. I thought that that was funny. When I saw this story, like, okay, Antifa's got satanic literature. I would love to know exactly what volumes are there because I have a sneaking suspicion there might be one of my volumes in their Antifa collection. Can you imagine how fucking funny it would be if, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, if one of my works was actually in the Antifa collection? Yeah, their satanic library or whatever the hell they're gonna brand it is. That would be, I mean, if I find that out, I'm going to burst out laughing. I'm not going to stop. I'm probably going to die of laughter, which actually has happened to a handful of people in history. I won't be able to breathe. Honestly, I won't be able to breathe at that point. It'd be hysterical. This is just another example of the left attempting to do things that non-leftists have done. So non-leftists popularize the concept of using dark magic against enemies through memetics mainly, and it works. It really does. It is real. Anyone who denies that it's real at this point, I think, is retarded mentally. Antifa, though, does not have the ability to utilize magic. They're too hierarchical, too formulaic. They are too ingrained into the power structure that they're trying to perpetuate. They're not capable of that shit. Yeah, I mean, they can delve into Satanism if they want, I suppose, but no, there's no point. It makes absolutely no difference. Satanism will turn you into a libertarian, dude. It's literally based on might is right. It's quite literally based on libertarianism. If they've got satanic literature and stuff like that in their Antifa shelter, it's going to be hilarious because that would be even funnier. So you're reading effectively a libertarian manifesto that masquerades as an occult manifesto. It has nothing to do with magic or anything like that. And that's your idea of Satanism. Well, then hopefully you will stop being Antifa members. Maybe it'll improve things. Maybe you should become a bunch of Satanists. At the very least, civically speaking, you'll leave the leftoidism behind. I fully support this. If you want to get into real black magic, all you have to do is consult me. That's about all. Peace out.